Yeah.
So this whole story from 2015 to 2018, you're bootstrapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which is why you had a small team, and you're like, hey, even if I get, long tail fintech players, or you get, enterprise accounts, for me, it's the same effort. You couldn't actually segment or put good people on the job. So
the way we used to hire, we signed two client contracts. We used to give out an offer letter, right? Because there is revenue commitment that's coming in, right? So it's not the other way, right?
That's the beauty of B2B.
Yeah, but correct. Yeah.
So I've heard the story from various channels before about how you bootstrap, and people always mention. I think you yourself mentioned the other Zoho kind of model that you kind of follow.
Yeah. Correct.
I think that's an interesting story by itself. Do you want to talk a little bit about the bootstrapping story? And I know that you've raised a little bit of money in the last few weeks and the last couple of months. So I want to talk through the bootstrapping story though. I think 2018 or 19, you were also part of the group of startups that were bootstrap geniuses or some award that I remember reading about.
So we got recognized by ET for a bootstrap champ. Yeah, virtually for the first 5 years we were bootstrapped. I think the beauty of it is, when we started out, we were, initially we were unclear what we were building, right? What's the story that you're going to scope and sell? So we said, let's firm this up. Let's get our, lack of a better word, the product market fit, or the market fit for the product, and then kind of go out and raise. But what we realized, and when we also, as somebody, building a business, you are every day reinventing yourself, right? You're you meet new people. In our, client sort of sales effort, we chanced upon Zoho team. Fascinating story in terms of how they've built, right? I mean, obviously they've taken 20 years to get to where they were. If you really look at amazing success stories of bootstrap companies, Zerodha, for example, right? While it's a 10-year business, I think Nitin has been at it since I think in his teenage, he's probably around his 40s, so probably 20 years he has been at it. So some of these great companies that have got built bootstrapped, they had like a very, very long-term dispassionate view of that business, right? They're basically saying, virtually these entrepreneurs have attained nirvana and saying, the money is not the motivation. I don't understand the VC world as much. I don't want to put my company through a pressure cooker situation, and really let that entity and the teams thrive and build new capabilities, right? So if Zoho is the SaaS business, they have been lucky because they had US as a base market. Really look at Zerodha. They got into a very ugly sort of not so much ugly, but not so clean sort of business in stock trading and broking and all of that. They were able to cut the chase and actually build a very transparent, low price product which is loved by everyone. But the real actual traction for them happened probably in the last 2 years, after 18 years, right? So I think
so it took 18 years for overnight success.
Absolutely, yeah. So in our mind, we said, as long as we are able to keep the lights on, we should just keep going, right? So we said, there is nothing in this world that is more valuable than that freedom that bootstrapped entity sort of gives you, right? You can.
So what's the process? Was there a process that you followed to keep it bootstrapped? Because I mean, I worked in payments, and I understand the margins are not great. So you have to hit a certain volume. And that basically means you need to get large enterprise clients. You need to hit your stride before you can actually put money away, take a salary, bunch of things, because you're constantly hiring to fulfill for the other job you've got. So is there a process you followed to make the economics work?
So very simple thing, right? I think one is obviously, first, I think until last year, we never went back to our market salary, right? So clearly we were, underpaying ourselves, which is a smaller thing. But the only thing, the difference between a funded business and a bootstrap company is about looking at it every month, cash flow to cash flow basis. In a funded company, it is burn, right? So how, you always hear about Runway and how much of Runway that you have in a funded business. In bootstrap company, it is every month, right? So this month end, you need to have needs to pay your salaries. So once you get this fundamental model fixed in your head, you always think about how do I get fixed revenues, right? So what we did in the first year itself was when we were playing and playing with smaller companies, we knew that some of these companies will fail, a lot of them will fail, but we priced ourselves in a model where we're at least be able to chip away half a resource's salary, right? So something like a monthly retainer or a subscription sort of fee. So and that has changed over time. It's not like everywhere we did that. So we would have a theme of a product that is running for 6 months to a year. We'll try and figure out how do I take certain cover under that particular product or idea, so that we are able to keep the lights on, right? And at a certain scale, I think about 18 to 24 months, we started accumulating more cash than what we were burning. So we really stuck it out for 6-8 months, saying we will actually create a reservoir, right? So that there's more money, even if things go south, you have some runway left in terms of working capital that is there, right? It's a hard journey. I think in my sort of 5 years, probably twice we've come to a brink where you have no money in the bank, right? It's really scary. People talk about it being lonely and all of that. It just the team that is there, right? It's basically being open about it to the team and saying that not to say that you're not going to pay. By God's grace, we have never skipped even 1 month's salary in our 60 sort of months of being around, right? But the fact that when you are at that moment of truth where there is no money, some serendipity happens, right? So it just somebody out of the blue pays your bill, something happens, and I would attribute a lot of this to just luck, where if we didn't have that luck going our way, right, we probably would not have survived, right? So I think there's no model to this. We were just lucky to figure out early green shoots in front of getting our revenues. We kept our costs super frugal, boss.